Hello and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. I'll be sharing 3 tales with you. I'll begin with this one from the crypto N0B who started TechCrunch. According to DEATON, XRP trading should be open to everybody. The concept of an accredited investor in the United States is central to the discussion here. In order to invest in certain types of emerging businesses, you need a much higher net worth than the average American in order to do so. I've mentioned this concept several times over the years, though it's been a while since I've talked about it. There are quite a few potential outcomes here. The government will say that you are sophisticated enough to invest in whatever you want if you have a net worth of at least $1 million, excluding your primary place of residence, or if you have made at least $200,000 for each of the previous 2 years and are on track to make it again for the current year, the 3rd year in a row. Daddy government is just telling you what you can't do because they think less of you. In fact, they do. They look down on you with obscene disdain and assume you're too dim to know better. So, you're safe in their care. You're broke right now. And so they conclude that your wealth must be an integral element of your reasoning since you have it. You have to be smart if you've managed to amass a lot of cash, right? What a moronic idea. Another example is the article from CoinGate titled XRP Attorney Insults Gary Gensler Over Library Lawsuit Remedies, which included some writing from attorney John DEATON. In addition, the Daily Huddle had this to say: warning from an SEC official that the US is falling behind Europe and the UK in the crypto market. I should probably preface this by saying I have zero experience in the financial sector. Nothing I say or write should be taken as recommendations to purchase or sell any security. For fun and as a pastime, I enjoy making videos about crypto-related topics to share on YouTube. You can leave if you don't like it, damn it. Okay, then. In this first of 2 pieces, pro-XRP attorney John DEATON responds to Michael Arrington's recent remarks on the reasons the SEC sued Ripple in the United States. The creator of TechCrunch and CrunchFun, Arrington, claimed that the SEC did not approve of the ease with which Ripple allowed anyone to trade XRP. Also, I think it's important to point out that Michael Arrington is not only the creator of Coinbase but also of Arrington XRP Capital, which some of you may already know. He is a close buddy of Brad Garlinghouse and a staunch supporter of the XRP cryptocurrency. But, in any case, let's proceed. Arrington said this on an old episode of The Lee Halpern Show, a podcast about business. What I think the SEC wants is for Ripple to fail so that they can claim victory and add a feather to their cap. Arrington remarked that this is just supposition, but he underlined it nonetheless. Arrington emphasized his disagreement with the SEC classification of XRP as a security. He stated his belief that the asset's classification as a security is irrelevant. As I explain, you'll realize that he's not just raving about how great something is for everyone, he's talking about how great it is for himself or his perspective. In this place, tech is completely reliable. So, I'll end this with a quote of his: "Security, what is it? What isn't a security has no bearing on the discussion. And the choice is reduced to allowing just the wealthy to trade an asset, or allowing anyone to trade an asset," end quote. He highlighted his money he had put into firms like Uber, Airbnb, and Pinterest. He admitted that his wealth and fund allowed him to participate in the company's early funding rounds. Arrington noted that he is not the only intelligent person who lacks the resources to pursue such projects. And I'll end with a quote of his: "The government has convinced them that they are not deserving of financial assistance because they are too impoverished to handle their own affairs responsibly. Therefore, they are not allowed to make 10,000x returns on companies like Uber, Pinterest, Airbnb, and so on," end quote. Yeah. Even if there are some people who are protected by the government because they genuinely are too foolish to make good financial decisions, that fact has bugged me for a long time. Just because there are moronic people in the world is no reason to restrict the rights of the rest of us. The jackass is what kind? Or am I wrong? Here's yet another one of his quotes. The SEC essentially states that it does not trust the poor to make sound financial decisions. They are the wealthy ones. Therefore, we will intervene to prevent them from doing so. That's not exactly on point, and it's evil. Arrington Michael absolutely. The article proceeds. Arrington continued by saying it doesn't matter to him if an asset is considered a security or not, but authorities should make sure they eliminate fraudulent practices and give investors the freedom to make whatever financial decisions they see fit. Based on his definition, XRP trading and investment should be open to anybody. Okay, I'll admit that I do agree with it. Now, DEATON law firm attorney John DEATON responds, and I agree with his assessment. The article proceeds. In response to statements made by Arrington, the complications that come with the definition of an accredited investor were brought up by DEATON. A person who meets the SEC definition of accredited investor is permitted to buy unregistered securities. Quoted by DEATON, "Are you only going to allow rich people to trade an asset?" TechCrunch founder. Then, DEATON goes on to remark, quote, "One of the most critical concerns in my lifetime is the abolition, the current concept of an accredited investor," end quote. That is exactly how I feel. He makes a lot of valid points. Here's another one of DEATON's sayings. "It's a damn terrible that a privileged 18-year-old can own/trade yet a military veteran of 20 years can't." Quote ends. Exactly. I find it revolting and abhorrent in the extreme. More liberty, in my opinion. Optional autonomy, not less. Oh, I completely forgot to bring this up at the start of the video. I have some news from the library that I thought you might find interesting. It's no secret that the library was defeated by the SEC back in November. As I mentioned in my last post, I've been keeping you up to date on the latest developments in this legal dispute, and that includes what the SEC is seeking in terms of remedies. It's true that the SEC lowered their requirements, but it wasn't out of the goodness of their hearts. They're Satan's devil children, born in hell. However, the library is financially unstable and inoperable, which is why they took this action. That's why they're after all the library's money. But there won't be any more disgorgement in the future. The SEC scrapped the plan because they knew the public wouldn't support it. Simply put, we can't afford it. That sum of money no longer exists and cannot be returned. Yes, that's the point. In light of the SEC statement that you need only pay around $111,000, we present the library's take on the matter. And that was probably a pretty specific figure because that's exactly what the library has left, though I haven't seen the actual explanation for that. I can't say for sure, but I can't think of any other way they might have arrived at that exact figure. This is what the library wrote earlier today. A discussion of the SEC decision to withdraw its request for disgorgement penalties of $22 million from the library. First, we're relieved, but only in the way that one would be relieved if only one hand were choking them instead of both. Second, the SEC decision to drop its disgorgement case against the library can be seen as motivated solely by the agency's own self-interest. The SEC anticipated defeat and sought to stave off a potentially damaging precedent. There has been no indication that the SEC antipathy toward blockchain is thawing. That is undeniably correct. This is an all-out attack, as I was emphasizing in my most recent video. Third, we're praying that the SEC decision to forego disgorgement is an indication that they are now ready to admit defeat and move on. When it comes to decentralized social media, it is by far the leader. As long as Odyssey is protected from interference by the United States government, we are optimistic about its prospects. That makes a lot of sense, actually. As a result of everything that has been going on, this piece by Coin Group has appeared. Titled XRP Attorney Insults Gary Gensler Over Library Lawsuit Remedies, this one was about a legal dispute between the two. And I won't be reading the piece, either. I'll just summarize what Attorney DEATON said that inspired the writer to pen that piece. So, the library is exempt from the disgorgement penalty of $22 million. Name one investor you protected by prosecuting this case, Attorney DEATON said, tagging Gary Gensler and the SEC in the post. No, you can't. If you want proof that tens of thousands of people utilize the network and don't consider LBC an investment, I have the transcript where your lawyers said as much. But you still won't elaborate. How embarrassing. Dead on. DEATON, attorney. Meanwhile, in another tweet, he said that the SEC would have agreed to fix the problem of secondary sales if it cared at all about individual investors and users of the library platform. While SEC lawyers acknowledge that most consumers didn't actually end up with an investment, the SEC nonetheless refused to clarify the situation. We are ashamed of the SEC. The SEC admits that the vast majority of people in this situation do not have LBC as an investment, hence nobody was safeguarded. Even on that point, they conceded. And yet, despite everything, this occurred. Who exactly is being shielded and why? Nothing here is shielding anyone. Nothing but rubbish. Then there's the Daily Huddle's front page. U.S. crypto industry set to fall further behind Europe and the UK, Security Commissioner warns. According to a news story by the Financial Times, a US Securities and Exchange Commission commissioner has warned that the US risks falling behind the EU and UK in terms of implementing clear crypto legislation. Pierce quotes SEC Commissar Hester Peirce as saying that the models developed in Brussels and London may be used as guides by legislators in the United States. The United States should follow the lead of the United Kingdom and the European Union and regulate the cryptocurrency business in the same way that regular financial institutions are regulated. Pierce made these claims to the Financial Times. We can learn a lot from the UK approach, to quote, "MiCA, the market for regulating crypto assets, can show us the way. Without a strong regulatory framework in the United States, I fear we are hurting ourselves." Quote ends. The EU laws for issuing and providing services related to crypto assets and stablecoins are known as MiCA. The Financial Times reports that MiCA will become law in 2018. In addition, the commissioner claims that the United States' recent crackdown on famous crypto companies like Coinbase, rather than establishing transparent norms, is prompting crypto firms to relocate to jurisdictions that have already set similar rules. And it's hard to miss that. And to Kim Jong-Genslers and the rest of those who insist on pretending otherwise, yes, everything is crystal plain. Many members in the crypto community openly flout the law. The liars are aware of their deceit. They are aware this is not the case. Virtually everyone involved in the cryptocurrency industry would agree that the regulatory landscape is murky, and this holds true regardless of whether you're talking to investors, developers, or any other kind of entrepreneur in the space. And when there are so many people, the regulators should pause and think, I guess we are doing something wrong, and perhaps do some introspection, but they don't. Instead, they're engaging in dishonesty. They must be aware of this, yet will stop at nothing to achieve their goal of eradicating crypto. This is exactly what they are doing. Really helps me save time by steaming my veggies, son. So, I'll end with a quotation. You continually raising the possibility of people relocating their businesses to different countries. To put it another way, people would come in and quote, yes, they would if we constructed a good regulatory environment. Businesses wouldn't be the only ones to stay put. Companies would relocate to the USA. Let's set fire to the place instead. Right. And that's essentially what they're advocating. What a ridiculous idea. Stupid. Stupid. No, I don't give out financial advice. Nothing I say or write should influence any transactions you make. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.